Good evening, everybody. Welcome. It is Sunday night again, and I am ready to go for the next class. So, actually, It has been a very busy weekend. So, a lot of things that I haven't done in the last few months, I am trying to do this weekend, or at least I have tried to do this weekend. Uh, what's today? Today is Sunday, July the 12th. And what time is it, Pedro? It is 9 o'clock. And of course, it is time to get started. A couple of things from last time. I still haven't cut my hair. And you see that my hair is very long. And I am ashamed to take off my hat. So it does not look good. Sorry, everybody. I will try to cut my hair. However, I did shave my goatee uh, this week. It was too long. So right now my hair is too long, and it has been too long for 3 months. Ooh, I need a haircut desperately. Alrighty, we are going to get started here in a minute. One thing I do want to mention for any of the intermediate students or beginning students or even advanced students, that when you see a question on the screen, I would like for you to repeat it, especially because you'll see the second interrogative, segundo interrogativo, will be mayúsculo, capitalized. So I would like for you to take this opportunity to repeat those questions when you hear them or when you see them, and also you'll hear me say them as well. So feel free to repeat those at home. Remember, asking questions is very difficult, and so are the answers. Everything is difficult in the beginning, but the hardest is the asking the questions. There's always that second interrogative. In Portuguese, for example, onde você mora? In English, where do you live? That's second interrogative. So I would like for everybody to be ready to repeat those questions. So hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun tonight. So I'm going to go to share screen. We'll do something a little different. So we're going to go to share screen. It will take about 1 minute or a few seconds, not quite a minute. So there we go. We're almost there. That's crazy, isn't it? All righty. So I'm in share screen. So I'm going to go directly to my PowerPoint. And let's see here. I'm going to the beginning. Let's get started. You guys know this already. For you veteranos, you know this slide. I start every week with this slide. Let's get started because of the word get. It's a crazy word, get, crazy verb. Yes, we use it all the time. Quando em dúvida, use get. Anytime, let's get started. Alrighty, and as you know, also we start with stuff every week to introduce things. So we have bold will be the new text. Remember, I am using 2 classes on Tuesday and Thursday for as a guide, I should say, como uma guía. So for some people, all of it or much of it will be new text. For some of you, it might be old text. So please be patient. Italics, rather, prepositions. I hope I got all of them except for the phrasal verbs. And then asterisk will be the adverbs with ly, only the adverbs. So there are some words with ly that are not adverbs. So we will look at one of those today. Brackets will be the participle, the past, present, future participle, and of course does not include I will not include the perfect tense. And then the red letters. The red letters are the words that start with any, some, no, and every. Actually, it'd be all the words with any, some, no, and every, not just start. So all the words, all these words, I also put those words and all those words in red and tongue. It's a very busy weekend. Then we have underline. Underline will be the keywords for this week. Anyhow, let's go directly to the keywords. And here we go. Our first question. What are the keywords tonight, Pedro? What are the keywords tonight? You can repeat this at home. What are the keywords tonight? Well, the first one's going to be get up and go. Get up and go. We're going to use get up and go. Get up and go, and then go down. Now, you know that word, by the way. We'll look at this here soon. Go down. Now, here we're going down. So, descer. Huge, huge. This is a word, imenso. Mais que grandão. So, it's huge. We'll look at this in a little bit. And then another one is cast lots. Now, the verb is cast. And it's a word you'll never see unless you fish. Pescadores, fishermen, it's a common phrase, a common verb. In American English, the rest of American English, you will probably never see this word again. Today we're going to go to our phrasal verb of the day. What do we have today? We have it turned out. Now this is in the past tense, which is most common for this phrasal verb. Is acabar que. Acabar. That's a confusing verb. We have looked at that once. We will look at it again because in Portuguese it's common. In English we have separate verbs for those. And here's the example. Everybody thought Pedro couldn't speak Portuguese, and it turned out that Pedro spoke fluently. Okay, that's a lie. Look what we have here today, guys. It's a bonus day. We have a bonus phrasal verb, hey, too, on the same class. What do we have here? We have come up this time. And in Portuguese, surgir. I couldn't go to the game last night. Something came up. Inesperadamente. Something came up. All right, here we go. Now we're going directly to our presentation tonight. And what is it called? It's called Jonah and the Big Fish. So, Paulo, you have to suffer through this one more time. No, this is a new presentation. Jonah and the Big Fish. And it's not a children's story. And that's how we know Jonah is swallowed by big fish, and for 3 days and 3 nights stayed in the big fish. Much like was it Pinocchio? And then everybody forgets the rest of the story. It's like a children's story, and we forget the 4th chapter, which is very important to the story. Anyhow, so Jonah and the Big Fish. All righty. First, we're going to start with a few questions. How many books are there in the Bible, Pedro? How many books are there in the Bible? There are 66 books, and 39 in the Old Testament, and 27 in the New Testament. Now, the Catholics have, I believe it's 46, this number. They have 7 books called the Apocrypha, which is between the Old Testament and the New Testament. For evangelicals, we have division between Malachi, and then we have the books of the New Testament, Matthew. So most Bibles have a page, or sometimes 4 pages, I believe. So Catholics will have an extra 7 books in their Bibles. Now there are 24 books in the Jewish Bible. Now, of course, this is the Old Testament. It's the same books as in the New Testament, or the evangelical Old Testament. So, but they just put the books together. 1st and 2nd Kings are one book. 1st and 2nd Chronicles is one book, and then the 10 or the 12 minor prophets, which we will look at soon, and some other things. Now, in the Old Testament, there are 3 divisions in the Jewish Old Testament, or I should say the Old Testament, the Jewish Bible. For them, it's their Bible is the Old Testament. They don't believe in the New Testament, obviously. Now, there's the books of the law. You know these books: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, a word I will never say again in Portuguese. Uh, and then there are the writings. And now for the Christians, we say that they are the books of wisdom, and then the books of poetry. But and for the Jewish Old Testament, they just have three: the books of the law, then the writings. These include Psalms, Proverbs, Esther, Ruth, Job, Samuel, or Samuel, depending on who you talk to. Samuel. These are all words, names in the in Portuguese, just pronounced differently. And then there are the prophets. There are the three major prophets: Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Jeremiah. Then the 12 minor prophets, which we will look at more here in a little bit. Now, the prophets also include the old prophets, Joshua, Judges, and more. So the number of prophets is actually more than 15. It's I forgot. Now Daniel, strangely, is considered a writing. It is by the Jews. It is not considered a book of prophecy, even though it is very. There are a lot of prophecies in this book. All right, let's look at the book of Jonah. What do we have here? It's one of the minor prophets, as I mentioned. Minor, menor. So it's almost the same word, minor, menor. And by the way, minor prophets are not menor, baixo qualidade ou mal respeitado. It's a smaller book. And the major prophets are bigger books. Only this. So it's one of the minor prophets. Now here's another question: when was Jonah written? Ask again. When was Jonah written? It was written between 793 and 758 BC. It's a long time ago, long before Jesus. And according to tradition, Rome was founded. Here's a word: found. Yes, in Portuguese is fundar. On April 21st, 753. So before there was Rome, Jonah was on the Mediterranean, having fun on the Mediterranean. There you go. Now, by the way, Jonah is mentioned in the Quran, a little different than what is written in our Bibles. So a little different. What is the book of Jonah about? What is the book of Jonah about? What is the book of Jonah about? Well, the book is about Jonah. And it is the only book about a prophet. The only book, único livro, of the 66 books about a prophet. Only about a prophet. And prophet is profeta. And there is only one name mentioned other than God, Yahweh, and that is Jonah. I'm sorry. I'm speaking Portuguese suddenly. All right. Now, it was written in the third person, and everybody assumes it was written by Jonah. Was it written by Jonah? We will never know. It's not like a letter like Paul wrote. In letters, it's who wrote it and who is the audience. Here, it's just this. It's a story about Jonah, and there's no mention. But many people believe that it was written by Jonah. Many of the other prophets also wrote in the third person. So everybody assumes that it was written by Jonah. I don't know. Probably. So, and by the way, nobody knows who wrote the Gospels either. Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. Who wrote them? We have an idea. We have tradition, just like Jonah. All right. Now, there are 4 chapters in Jonah. It's a short book. So we will go through the book very quickly. And there are 4 separate Jonahs. And we will look at all of them in the coming days here, coming weeks. So each chapter is a separate story about Jonah, but we have to remember that this is all one story. 4 Jonahs, one story. And this is where we have problems with the book of Jonah, big problems. We don't understand the book, and we don't understand the man. All right. Now, right now, we'll go to vocabulary. And we looked at founded. Founded. Now, this is not find, found, found. This is found, founded, founded, which is fundar. And threaten. Threaten. Now, threaten is ameaçar, and threat is ameaça. But here we're going to look at the verb threat, and it's a regular verb. Drown. Drown is afogar. Afogar. And it's a regular verb also. Then we have cry. Now, cry in everyday English, dia, cry is chorar. But sometimes for poetic reasons, we say cry or cry out. And so it's going to be chorar or clamar. Clamar is the best in this case. Blame is another regular verb. Blame is culpar. Culpar, always culpar. Culpar is always blame. So that one's pretty easy. All right, so that's it. Only today, five verbs for today. Or I'm sorry, we'll have another one, I believe, here in a little bit. Major, we looked at major, mayor, minor, menor, and trouble. Trouble really means problems, but it's usually big problems. I have trouble at work. My boss doesn't like me. I have trouble at work. So I have problems. I have trouble. And then we have in trouble, which we will look at later. In trouble is con problemas. I am in trouble with my boss. So this is a person in trouble with, or an agency, or a specific person or entity, entidade. Então, meanwhile, enquanto isso, you see the word while, enquanto. Meanwhile, enquanto isso. Storm, tempestade. I think you guys know this one, tempestade. And pity, pity. Pity is going to be pena, ou pity is also going to be piedade, piedade. It's a little strange word. We also say for oh, nossa, que dó, what a pity, que dó. But that's for another day or another class someday. Então, dove is pombo. Now, there are two pombas in English. Dove, which is white, and then the pigeon. Pigeon is what you see at Metro Say, or the park say. There are 2 million pigeons there. So those are obviously different than doves. Skin is going to be belly. That one you probably already know. Then we have mouth. Mouth is boca. And a little anatomy here. And then we have tongue. Tongue is going to be lingua. Lingua can also, in English too, can also be language. Lingua can be language, and tongue can be lingua, or can be linguage also. So, and then one more, lips, which will be labios. Então, now sailors on the deck of a ship. Sailor is going to be marinheiro, and deck. Oh my goodness, I don't remember deck. And then ship is navio. Oh, no, I forgot to write these down. I forgot. So ship is going to be navio. If anybody knows, please send me a message on WhatsApp. And here's a picture of a ship, and you see the sailors working on the deck. Yeah, we'll find out here in just a second. So let's see here. Convés. That's right. Convés of the deck. So there are 5 sailors. By the way, the verb is sail. The verb is sail. And sailors sail. Players play. Singers sing. Actors act. Programmers program. So sailor sails. And these are sailors on the deck of a ship. And now we pay a fare to get on the ship. Now we pay a fare to get on airplane, ship, long trains, but we don't pay a fare to get onto buses or metro. So it's a long trip. So we pay a fare to get on the ship. And people slept below the deck. So here's deck, and then people slept below. The cargo went there too. They didn't carry cargo on the top. Obviously, in the water, it's better when the cargo is below the deck, below the deck. Anyhow, and it looks like this ship is going the wrong way. It's going up in the air. Something is wrong here. Very wrong. So anyhow, also we're going to start with today's lesson in chapter 1, and we're going to look at a portion of chapter 1. Anyhow, one day the Lord told Jonah, the son of Amittai, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and say to the people, the Lord has seen your terrible sins." But Jonah got up and went in the other direction to Tarshish. So he went down to the port of Joppa. There he found a ship that was going to Tarshish. He paid the fare and went down into it. He was running away from the Lord. But the Lord sent a great wind on the sea, and such a bad storm came up that the ship threatened to break up. The sailors were afraid, and each cried out to his own God. They even threw the ship's cargo into the sea to make the ship lighter. Mais levy. But Jonah had gone down below deck and fell into a deep sleep. The ship's captain went to him and said, "How can you sleep at a time like this? Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he will have pity on us and keep us from drowning." Meanwhile, the sailors said to each other, "Let's cast lots to show us who caused all this trouble." It turned out to be Jonah. All right. Verse 1. One day the Lord told Jonah, the son of Amittai. Now, what do we know about Jonah? Okay, guys, at home. What do we know about Jonah? Well, Jonah means dove, pomba. Doves are peaceful. Cheu de paz, peaceful. Anyhow, his father's name is Amittai. Amittai means faithfulness, faithful, cheu de fé, fiel. Faithfulness is going to be fidelidade. So Amittai means faithfulness, fidelidade. So what happened to Jonah? I would like to know, actually. We will look at that. What happened to Jonah? Because he made a wrong turn in life somewhere, and maybe even genetically. So he made a wrong turn. Ele virou errado na vida, somewhere, algum lugar na vida. Então, now what else? What else? O que mais do we know about Jonah? Repete, por favor. What else do we know about Jonah? Well, 2 Kings 14:25. 2 Kings 14:25. This happened as the Lord, the God of Israel, had said through his servant Jonah, son of Amittai, the prophet from Gath-Hepher. So now we have a place where he's from. And you see it's almost the same in Portuguese. And where was he from? Where was he from? He was from Gath-Hepher. Gath-Hepher. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly in Hebrew. I don't know what that would be. He was a prophet. This much we know. Because the Lord God had said through the son of Amittai, and also in Jonah too, the word of the Lord came to Jonah. So that's how God talked to his peoples through his prophets. So he was a prophet, and prophet means spokesman. Now, as you guys know, spokesman it has been 2 months. Spokesman is portavoz. And God spoke God spoke through the prophets. God spoke through the prophets. Através por meio. Então, now verse 2. Go to the great city. This is what God told Jonah. Go to the great city of Nineveh and say to the people, the Lord has seen your terrible sins. And here we go in Portuguese. You see the word grande. Here it's great. Great city, great big city, huge city of Nineveh and pregue. Now, in Portuguese, they use preach. Here, the Portuguese is perfect. That I can see. I'm not a Greek estudioso. I don't know Grego, but from what I read in Greek, it is very, very close. This is very good in the NEVE. Então, here it is again, and go. Now, go in Hebrew means kum or kumkara. I said Greek. I meant Hebrew. I'm sorry. This is the Old Testament. It's in Hebrew. So kum or kumkara in Hebrew. So this means something like, well, what is the difference, Pedro? What is the difference? You asked. Get up or get up and go. Kum or kumkara. And they translate it differently. Probably everywhere. So get up and go. Here it is. Go. Just go. Go to the great city. So get up and go. It's like stand and stand up. Stand is usually ficar en pé, and then stand up will be levantar. So it's almost the same thing. Almost the same thing. And then the word great. There it is. The great city of Nineveh. He will repeat this word many times. I think in the book he uses it 15 or 16 times. So we will count this for next time maybe. And then the city of Nineveh. Everybody's familiar with Nineveh. It's a major civilization. It's like the Soviet Union, Union Soviética. It is a major civilization. It wasn't a good one. Anyhow, they had a population, this is estimated, between 120,000 and 1 million people. So at least, pelo menos, 120,000 people, up to 1 million. And it was known for its cruelty. Now here's cruelty, T-Y no final. Crueldade. Oops, now it doesn't have L-Y, it has T-Y. So here's crueldade. So it was known for its cruelty. And they perfected torture. Perfected, this word perfect, perfeccionar. They perfected torture. For example, they cut off skin just to watch them suffer. Now, I put the off mayusculo. Why? Because the skin, remember body from last week, body is corporal. The skin is on our body. And when they tiraron the belly, they cut off. And remember the difference. The skin is on our body, then they cut off the skin. So here the preposition provides direction. It's not a phrasal verb, true phrasal verb. It only provides direction. So they cut off the skin just to watch them suffer. Divertidos, cruel, more than cruel. Anyhow, and here I have a picture where they're cutting out tongues. Now, tongue, as you know, is lingua, and our tongues are in our mouths. So the tongue is in our mouth. So when they tirar a lingua, here they cut out. Remember, on, off, here, and in, out. Apostos, in, out. The tongue is in our mouth, and they cut the tongues out. So cut here, this is a picture from ancient Nineveh, where they're cutting out tongues. So this was very cruel, very, very cruel, just for fun, or divertidos. Now you see there's a woman there on the left. So the women were involved. Well, actually, this isn't Nineveh. This is a picture of my wife, and she's looking for my credit card. But that's for another day. All right. Where is Nineveh? Where is Nineveh? Well, you see on the right-hand side, we have three cities. We have Joppa, Gath-Hepher, and Nineveh. So Gath-Hepher is where Jonah's from, Gath-Hepher. And Joppa is not close. You can't get to Joppa in one day by foot. Japan. I'm sorry, Ape. It takes a long time. It's not close. But he is from Gath-Hepher. Where he is in the story, I don't know. Maybe he is in Joppa. And by the way, Joppa today is Tel Aviv. And then Nineveh, you see that's up to the right. On the right side of Turkey, maybe Iraq. I think it is Iraq. Iraq. Então, so there's Nineveh. Now in verse 3, but Jonah got up, there it is, got up, and went in the other direction. He got up. Kunkara, he got up and went in the other direction. And so he went down to the port of Joppa, and there he found a ship that was going to Tarshish. He paid the fare and went down into it. He was running away from the Lord. Now here in the Portuguese, they use fugir in the first sentence and the first line and the last line. Para fugir do Senhor, mas nós fugiu. So here it's correctly got up from the Hebrew. Dirigindo-se para Tarshish. And then Jonah, we will discover he likes to desert. He will desert many times in the story. And here he descended, he went down to the port of Joppa, and then he paid, and he went down into the ship rather. And here in Portuguese just says embarcou, when actually he embarked, but also he went down into the boat, into the ship. And that's in the Hebrew also. Então, can you blame Jonah? Can you really blame Jonah? If somebody wanted to cut your tongue off or cut your skin off or kill you just in some, I think you have the word impalar, various torturas that they used. Oh, it's horrible. We don't know. I heard entire cities, cidades inteiras, cometeram suicídio para evitar. Então, can you blame Jonah? Então, maybe, and by the way, maybe Tarshish was just any city far away. We don't know. We need to assume this is the Tarshish, but there were a few Tarshishes in the area, or in the Mediterranean. So there are a few. But by the way, in English, we use where's Tarshish? Oh, that is so far. It's in Timbuktu. We say Timbuktu. It's a city, but it's a city far away that nobody knows in the United States, and nobody would like to know. Very few people would like to know. We just say it's in Timbuktu. I don't know where Timbuktu is, but the city does exist. So maybe this is Tarshish, just another city far, far away. And here, I think in Portuguese, I think this works. Onde Judas perdeu as botas. So that's a little confusing for me, but I don't know if this works. These expressions in Portuguese are extremely confusing. Então, onde Judas perdeu as botas. Então, I need to process that better. Então, where was Tarshish? Então, where was Tarshish? Repete, casa. Where was Tarshish? Here it is again. Here's our map, and see on the left side, there's a Tarshish in Spain. And it's the only Tarshish really that could apply. Now, we have to remember this is far, far away, at the time. Então, verse 4.
But the Lord sent a great wind on the sea, and such a bad storm came up that the ship threatened. Amiaso. This is our animated boat here, threatened to break up. So here we have the great wind, this big, huge wind on the sea caused such a huge storm, huge, bigger than big, mayor, grande. And it came up, surgiu, that the ship threatened to break up. Now, break, and remember, up means entirely. So the piece that is going to desmontar in espalhar todos os pedaços. There's a word I don't remember, so forgive me on that. Então, here it is in Portuguese. Here is Vento. And the storm is called tão violenta, but it's the same word in Hebrew, that the boat, barco, threatened to break up, or there it is. So totally, almost dissolver. Now everything is big in the book of Jonah. And there is somebody in the United States who speaks like this every day. Uh, his name is Donald Trump, the American president. It's funny to watch him speak because everything is great or big. And as speaking from an English perspective, so everything. I think those are his favorite words: big and great. Somebody's a good person is great. Something that is even major, normal is big and great. All right. So verse 5. The sailors were afraid, and each cried out to his own God. They even threw the ship's cargo into the sea to make the ship lighter. But Jonah had gone down below deck and fell into a deep sleep. So here we are in Portuguese. And there it is, clamava. E cada clamava ao seu próprio Deus. And then, but Jonah had gone down. Here they used descido, to the bottom. Really, porão would be the bottom of the boat. And he laid down, deitado. He laid down. I should maybe highlight that. But and then he went dormia profundamente. So deep, profundo. Profundamente, deep. He slept deeply. In English, we say he went into a deep sleep, or fell into caiu no sono profundo. Então, there were only two who slept in a bad storm. One of those is Jonah. Can anybody guess who is the other? Who is the other? It is Jesus. And we will look at these comparisons later with Jonah and Jesus. And there are more than you think. Now, every nation had their own God. So, proprio Deus. And that's one reason why God gave the law to the Hebrews. We have talked about the law, the first 5 books, especially in Exodus, the 10 Commandments, and the other 603 laws that they had. So that's one reason why they had. It served as a constitution. And also, it was to help the Jews. So the Jews didn't become, remember, se tornar, like the other nations, como as outras nações. Now the sailors probably came from different countries because they had their own God, prayed to their own God. So this means that they're probably from different countries, and it's difficult to find people to go from one end of the Mediterranean to the other end. Remember, this is a long time ago. There was money, but there was also problems. Alrighty. Now, Nineveh had the god Dagon. This is the god of Dagon, and their god of Nineveh. It's called Dagon. Originated with the Philistines, who are an interesting people. We'll maybe someday, not soon, but we will look at these people. Interesting historically, historicamente. So it originated with the Philistines, or Philistines, some people say, and is mentioned mainly in First Samuel, or Samuel, depending. So it's mentioned mainly in First Samuel. And here is a picture of this Dagon. It's half fish, half man. I remember half is Mitaji, Umeo. So it's half fish and half man. And Nineveh means place of the fish. Anytime. We will return to that later. Verse 6. The ship's captain went to him and said, "How can you sleep at a time like this?" Repete, por favor. How can you sleep at a time like this? Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he will have pity on us and keep us from drowning. So here he is. He's saying, get up and pray. Ori to your God. How can you sleep? And that's a good question. How can you sleep like at a time like this? Maybe he will have pity, piedade, and here in the Portuguese it says piedade. And they used in like the Hebrew, it says they will keep us from drowning. So, alrighty, keep us from drowning. The verb is keep. And then we have from, keep us from drowning. Prevenir, maybe prevenir, keep us from drowning. I want to use afastar, but to keep us from drowning. Maybe it is afastar, but it doesn't sound right. But keep us from drowning. We went, manter, keep us from. Manter nos longe, the drowning. But you see how the preposition us, the object, comes between the verb and the preposition, keep us from drowning. Now we turn the TV on sometimes. This ligar televisão, here it's turn the TV on. Turn on is the verb, phrasal verb. Turn on, ligar. So turn the TV on, and it's confusing to process these things. Look it up. I hear this a lot. Pedro, who scored the most goals in Brasileirão in 1989? I don't know, but I can look it up. I will pesquisar in the internet. So look it up. And then help Pedro out. Help and help out really are the same thing. Help out is more personal. So if anybody wants to help Pedro out, I am my own favorite charity, Caridade. So if you need a Caridade, you can send all your payments to, no, I'm joking. So help Pedro out. We're going to help him out. Pedro needs help. So it's a little strange, help to process the verb and then the preposition later after the object. So, now the truth about Jonah, it's a little different than what we know. What is the truth about Jonah? There's only one person who can sleep at a time like this. There's only one person. Well, there's one, we know that Jesus slept, but we can't classify him as a person. But there's only one person, and that is somebody who is seriously depressed. Now, here we use the seriously depressed as somebody who is very depressed, seriously, very, 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 very depressed. Somebody who is seriously depressed. Absolutely. He was more than afraid. I remember this from last time, Colmedo. He was more than afraid. And Tarshish, you need to remember, is at the other end of the world. Otro final. Otro ponto, I don't know, at the end of the world, the otro lado del Mediterráneo, bem longe. This is the end of the world. And Israelites were not sailors. So Jonah was definitely not a sailor. And prophets didn't know how to do anything. Didn't know how to do. Now, in Portuguese, you would say prophets didn't know to do. Now, sabiam fazer. So prophets didn't know how to do anything except prophesy. Now, the verb is prophesy. That's all they knew. They didn't know anything about boats, about working, anything. So Jonah wanted to die. He didn't know how he wanted to die, but he wanted to die. Anyhow, now fear is medo. Afraid is com medo. Fear. There are two different kinds of fear. Now remember, this word kind also means tipo. We looked at this last week. There are two different kinds. Tipos, medo. One is real, and the other is perceived. Obviously, percibido. Examples of real fear? Well, there are big dogs, obviously. We see a big dog. Oh, I need to run. Metromania at 11:30 at night. Oh, yes, definitely. Shaking hands. Remember, we looked at shake hands is apertar as mãos. You say aperta de mãos, the handshake, but the verb is shake hands. So shaking hands today and with the coronavirus, ooh, that's a real fear. That's not a perceived fear. That's real. And of course, you get a phone call from Receita Federal. Pedro, we would like to speak with you. Can you can you visit us? You're going to lose a lot of money. Anyhow, now perceived fear, uh, for example, is talking to a big crowd. The big crowd is not going to attack you. They're not going to get you. Now remember, we looked at crowd is multidão. So that's a perceived fear. And so is também taking a test. Oh, it's a medir de preparação, taking a test. Then there's acne. Oh, that's perceived fear. And expectations, expectativas. By the way, in English, we take a test and make a decision. My students remember this. Take a test and make a decision. In Portuguese, you take a decision and make a test. Fazer uma prova e tomar uma decisão. So, ao contrário in English. Or worse, perceived fears or worse. And we will look at this in the future. The possibilities are huge for these perceived fears. Anyhow, now verse 7. Then the sailors said to each other, let's cast lots to show us who caused all this trouble. It turned out to be Jonah. It turned out to be Jonah. Here it is in Portuguese. To each other, entre si, combinaram entre si, vamos tirar sortes. So cast lots, tirar sortes. This was common actually in the Old and New Testament. After Judas died, or after Judas went away, I don't know how you want to use that, got his reward, recompensa. I don't want to call that recompensa, but they selected the next apostle with the casting lots. So it was in the Old Testament and the New Testament. And here, sortes para descobrir. In this version, so it shows, it uses show us and descobrir. A little different, but it has the same message. Quem é responsável por esta desgraça, the news trouble, que se abateu sobre nós. So and we'll look at that word abateu maybe next week. But and then they cast lots, and the lot sorte fell on Jonas. And in English we use fell on Jonas, just like here in Portuguese. Now, sorte, as you know, is luck. In English we have good luck and bad luck. Here's sorte is you have good luck is sorte, and azar, you have azar for bad luck. So então, here we go. Each other. Then the sailors said to each other. Now you know in English we just have each other. Portuguese, you have com outro, de outro. I hope I spelled this right. Do outro, do outro, e para o outro. So you have three options. Obviously, here they said to each other para o outro. Então, Now, here's our text again. One day the Lord told Jonah, the son of Amittai, go to the great city of Nineveh and say to the people, the Lord has seen your terrible sins. But Jonah got up and went in the other direction to Tarshish. So he went down to the port of Joppa. There he found the ship that was going to Tarshish. He paid the fare and went on board. He was running away from the Lord. But the Lord sent a great wind on the sea, and such a bad storm came up that the ship was about to be broken to pieces. The sailors were afraid, and each one cried out to his own God. They even threw the ship's cargo into the sea to make the ship lighter, mais leve. All this time, Jonah was down below deck, sound asleep. The ship's captain went to him and said, how can you sleep at a time like this? Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he will have pity on us and keep us from drowning. Meanwhile, the sailors said to each other, let's cast lots to show us who caused all this trouble. It turned out to be Jonah. Anyhow, how many miracles were there? Now, you know miracles, milagres. How many miracles were there? I counted 3 in this little 7 verses. A few in these few 7 verses, not little. They cast lots, and Jonah was discovered. Ah, so they cast lots. So it was a miracle. The Lord sent a great wind on the sea. There's the second miracle. There's one more at the beginning of the book. This is the big miracle. One day the Lord told Jonah. One day the Lord told Jonah. Why did God call Jonah? And we will look at this in the future. Why did God call Jonah? Well, let's look at Isaiah 42:6 first, because it says to the Jews, to Isaiah, you will be a light for the Gentiles. You will be a light, a luz for the Gentiles. And the Jews failed miserably. Now here's that word miserable. Miserable in Portuguese is only conditions. In English, you can be emotionally miserable. You can be spiritually miserable. And here they failed miserably. They failed inteiramente, hugely. It's a word that doesn't exist. I'm sorry, but they failed miserably, totally failed. And Jonah, however, was the only prophet to run in the Old Testament. He was the only prophet. But this is the important part. Jonah was the only prophet to go. The only prophet to go. I can't find anybody else who went to the Gentiles. Not one. If somebody finds one, please let me know. I did not do an exhaustive study. So if anybody finds something about the Gentiles, the prophet going only to the Gentiles, let me know. Who was Jonah? Was he a bad person? Did he have mental problems? Problemas mentais. Now the answer to this is more complicated than we think. And we will look at this in the next few weeks. And you will be surprised with the story of Jonah. It's not a children's story. Now, who really was Jonah? He was just like us. And this is the hard part about the book of Jonah. This book is written to all of us. It is not a story of bad behavior, comportamento ruim. This is a story about all of us. But he was only worse, obviously. Now, what is the difference between Jonah and us? What is that difference? We have the book of Jonah. We have all these people in the Bible to learn from. So these are our role models. I don't know, the modelos. These are the people, I don't want to say ídolos, but these are the people that we look to, and what to do and what not to do. And all of them have things that we shouldn't do, we don't do. And Jonah has many of these. But this is the story is not over. Now, terminó. The story is not over. There's much more to the story. It's not a story of Jonah ran, Jonah learned his lesson, Jonah did the right thing. And it's fascinating to see how God works. Funciona. God works. Deus funciona. And we will look at that in the next few weeks. So soon, maybe in the next week or two, there will be a break because I'm going to return back to the New Testament for 1 week, maybe next week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or after we finish Jonah, because I need to explain a few things. Explicar algumas coisas da aula passada. And it's very important. So some people had, or there were some questions rather about the last week. So but the story of Jonah. I hope you join me for the next few weeks because it is very interesting story. It's well written, also bem escrito. So we will do that in the weeks to come. Alrighty, we're going to stop here for tonight. For all my students, see you next week. And for any of you who are not my students, see you next Sunday. I hope you enjoyed everything. Let me know if you have any questions on WhatsApp. Good night, everybody.